Okay, so think about these giant figures of history, right? The ones who really shake things up.
Yeah.
It's like we forget they had to start somewhere, too. Like, take Henry Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Before the assembly lines, before every family had a Model T,
Right.
there's this awesome story about him as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like 12 years old, totally fixated on a pocket watch.
I've heard this.
But it's not just like looking at it. He takes the whole thing apart. Tiny pieces, gears, springs.
Wow.
And get this, he puts it back together perfectly.
That's incredible. At 12.
Yeah. And apparently it wasn't just a fluke, like he became the local watch repair guy.
Yeah.
People knew him for that. It really makes you think, right?
Makes you think.
Was that his first taste of tinkering, of figuring out how things work?
Seed for Ford Motor Company, basically.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to do today, a deep dive into Henry Ford.
The man, the myth, the legend.
We've got a ton of sources. We're going from his childhood on the farm to, building a global empire.
The whole shebang.
And we're going to get into some of the tougher stuff, too. Parts of his life that weren't so pretty.
Yeah, he was a complicated guy.
Think of this as your guide to the man behind the Ford, the guy who basically invented Fordism. His impact is still huge today. We want to give you the full picture. Early life, innovations, how he ran his factories, all of it, without boring you to death with every little detail.
A clear, comprehensive look at Henry Ford. I like it.
So let's start at the beginning. Born July 30, 1863.
Right?
Farm in Springwell Township, Michigan.
Okay. Rural upbringing.
His dad, William, was an Irish immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, Mary, her parents were from Belgium.
Interesting.
Big family. Bunch of siblings. John, Margaret, Jane, William, and Robert. Robert died really young.
Right. So a pretty typical 19th century farm family. Lots of mouths to feed.
Definitely. But even then, it sounds like Ford was different. Like he finished 8th grade.
Which was normal then.
Yeah, totally normal.
Mm-hmm.
And later he took a bookkeeping course. But if you think about that watch story,
That says a lot.
it seems like his real education was just taking things apart.
Figuring out the mechanics of the world. Hands-on.
Exactly. And it wasn't just the watch. Around that same time, 1875, he saw one of those Nichols and Shepard road engines.
What are those?
Basically, an early car, but powered by steam.
Huh.
Ford said it was the first self-propelled thing he'd seen that wasn't pulled by horses.
I bet that was an eye-opener.
Oh, totally. For a kid already obsessed with gears and how things ran, imagine seeing that.
Planted a seed, for sure.
But here's the thing. He hated farm work. Like, really hated it.
A lot of farm kids did, to be honest.
Yeah, but there's this quote. He said he loved his mother on the farm, but not the farm itself. So that tells you something.
Right, he was looking for something else.
And that's what took him to Detroit in 1879. Starts an apprenticeship, becomes a machinist.
Getting that hands-on experience.
First with this company, Flower & Brothers, then later at the Detroit Dry Dock Company.
So ships, engines, all sorts of machinery.
All kinds of stuff. He's learning practical skills, right?
Sure.
But in 1882, he goes back to Dearborn.
Back to the farm.
Yeah, to help out. But even then, it's all about the mechanics. Westinghouse steam engines, that was his thing.
So he was becoming an expert.
Big time.
Wow.
He even got a job with Westinghouse, like servicing their engines.
Those different types of engines, different ways to generate power, all building up to something.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting. He sets up a workshop right there on the farm.
A tinkerer's paradise.
And he starts messing around with building his own vehicles.
Really? That early on?
Yeah. First, he tries a steam wagon, then a steam car.
Steam was the big thing then.
It was. But he figures out pretty quickly that steam power, not ideal.
What? Too dangerous?
Yeah, those boilers were risky, especially for something small and personal.
Right. Makes sense.
And he also rules out electricity early on. Batteries weren't good enough.
And the infrastructure wasn't there either, like charging stations and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, you'd have to deal with trolley wires and stuff. Just not practical.
So that leaves.
Gasoline.
Uh-huh.
In 1885, he fixes an auto engine.
Okay, for those who don't know, the auto engine.
It's a big deal. It's an early internal combustion engine. Burning fuel inside, not like steam.
Right. A key difference.
By 1887, Ford builds his own four-cycle engine. And he doesn't stop. He keeps going, starts working on a two-cylinder engine in 1890.
So all this time, he's teaching himself.
Totally self-taught.
That's amazing. No fancy engineering degree, just trial and error. Yeah. Building, testing, refining.
And it all pays off in 1892.
What?
His first motor car. Done.
Wow.
It had the two-cylinder, 4-horsepower engine he'd built. And the car itself, well, it was basic. Bicycle wheels, solid rubber tires,
yeah,
no air, a foot brake, and a teeny gas tank,
Oh.
3-gallon.
Bare bones, but it worked.
It did. Later, he even added a water jacket to keep it from overheating. And he spent the next couple of years driving it everywhere, testing it, making it better, put 1,000 miles on it. Then between 1895 and 1896, he builds 2 more cars, all in his workshop.
This guy was a machine.
But here's something else. Remember, all this is happening while he's got a life outside the workshop. Married Clara Jane Bryant in 1888.
Providing some stability.
Yeah. And their son Edsel was born in 1893.
So, responsibilities.
Yeah.
Family to provide for.
Probably drove him even harder,
Makes sense.
And to make ends meet, in 1891, he gets a job as an engineer.
Where?
Edison Illuminating Company, right in Detroit.
Wow, working for Edison.
Yep. And by 1893, they make him chief engineer.
That's huge. So you'd think working for Edison with electricity booming.
You'd think he'd drop the car stuff.
Right.
But nope. This job actually helped him keep going with his gasoline engines.
How so?
Steady paycheck, access to resources, tools, maybe even ideas from other engineers.
Ironic though, right? Working for an electric company while building gas-powered cars?
It's funny how things work out. And all those late nights in the workshop, they lead to something big.
Okay, what?
1896, he finishes the Ford quadricycle.
The quadricycle.
Takes for its first spin on June 4th. This thing was a real step up from his earlier cars.
Like a prototype Model T almost.
In a way. And that same year, something crazy happens. He meets Thomas Edison.
The man himself.
Edison's interested in what Ford's doing. And he gives him, his blessing. Tells him to keep at it with the cars.
Can you imagine getting a pep talk from Edison?
Must have been amazing.
Talk about motivation.
And Ford does exactly that. By 1898, he finishes his second automobile. Then, 1899, big decision.
What's he do?
He quits Edison.
Whoa.
And with backing from this lumber guy, William H. Murphy, he founds the Detroit Automobile Company.
Going all in?
All in. His first real shot at being a car manufacturer.
So how'd that go?
Well, it's like anything new. It had bumps.
Okay, like what?
The cars, they weren't up to Ford standards. Too expensive, too.
Yeah, that's a problem.
And so, in 1901, the company, kaput.
Back to square one.
Not quite. See, Ford, he doesn't give up. He designs a new car, super powerful, 26 horsepower.
And
October 1901, he races it and wins.
the comeback story.
Big time. This win convinces Murphy and some of the other investors to try again.
Not a chance.
They form the Henry Ford Company. This time, Ford's the chief engineer.
Back in the game.
But again, things get tricky. In 1902, they bring in this consultant, Henry M. Leland.
Leland, wasn't he?
Yeah, the guy behind Cadillac.
Wow. So both Ford and Cadillac have Henry Ford in their early days.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Leland's all about precision manufacturing, super high quality.
Nothing wrong with that.
But Ford's vision was different. He wants to build cars for everyone, not just the wealthy.
The everyday man's car.
So they butt heads. And in 1902, Ford leaves.
Again.
The company becomes Cadillac under Leland's guidance. And Ford, he's got to start over again.
But he didn't quit.
Not a chance. He teams up with this guy, Tom Cooper, a former bike racer.
An interesting pair.
They build this beast of a car called 999, over 80 horsepower.
Like a rocket on wheels.
And guess who drives it?
Let me guess. Barney Oldfield.
You got it.
Ah.
October 1902, Oldfield wins this massive race in 999.
Cementing Ford's reputation.
Everyone's talking about Henry Ford.
Oh.
So he takes this momentum and partners up with Alexander Y. Malcolmson. This guy was a coal dealer, had some money.
The money man.
They form Ford and Malcolmson Limited. Their goal, build an inexpensive car, something anyone could afford.
Ambitious.
They lease a factory, and they make a deal with these two brothers, the Dodge brothers.
Oh.
Horace and John Dodge. They're going to supply the parts.
So it's all coming together.
Kind of. Sales are slow, and the Dodge brothers, they want their money.
Classic cash flow problem.
Exactly. Ford and Malcolmson are struggling.
What happens next?
Malcolmson goes and finds more investors. They need cash fast.
Smart move.
And so, on June 16th, 1903, they reform the company. The Ford Motor Company is born.
This is it, the big one.
$28,000 in capital. Ford, Malcolmson, the Dodge brothers,
No.
they're all in. Plus this guy, James Keyes. It's going to be important later on.
Okay. But was Ford in charge?
Actually, no. The investors, they were a little nervous about Ford.
Too unpredictable.
Maybe. So they made John S. Gray president. He was more traditional.
So Ford's the ideas guy, Gray's the steady hand.
But Ford still wants to prove himself. So what does he do?
Another race.
Yeah. Lake St. Clair, frozen solid. He takes this new car out there
Hooray!
and drives a mile in 39.4 seconds.
Are you serious?
Dead serious. A new land speed record, over 91 miles per hour.
Holy cow. That's got to turn some heads.
Everyone's paying attention now. And remember, $9.99, the race car.
All feels right.
Barney Oldsfield takes that thing on tour all across the country. Instant fame for Ford. And Ford even gets involved in the Indianapolis 500 early on.
So speed, innovation, that's the Ford brand now.
And it all leads to the Model T.
The car that changed everything.
In 1909, Ford applies for a patent. His transmission design, super innovative.
Ahead of its time.
He gets the patent in 1911. But the real revolution, October 1st, 1908, the Model T is born.
And the world's never the same.
Think about this. Left-hand steering. Brand new then, but it just made sense.
It's still the standard today.
Right. The whole engine and transmission enclosed.
Protects it, makes it last longer.
And easier to fix. All 4 cylinders cast in one block.
Streamlining production.
He used these semi-elliptic springs.
Suspension.
Yeah. It gave a smoother ride than most cars back then.
Smart thinking.
And the whole design was simple. Easy to drive, easy to fix. That was huge.
Especially for people who had never owned a car before.
Exactly. Plus, the price. $825 at first. A lot of money then, but
But Ford finds ways to make it cheaper.
way cheaper. By the 1920s, most folks learned to drive in a Model T. It changed everything. People could actually afford a car.
A car for the masses.
And it wasn't just personal transportation. The whole country changed because of the Model T factories, roads, how we live.
A total revolution.
Ford was brilliant with publicity. He had this whole PR machine in Detroit. Everyone knew about the Model T.
Word of mouth is powerful.
And he created this network of dealerships all across North America.
So you could buy a Ford anywhere.
Everywhere. And these dealerships, they got rich. They were pushing cars on everyone.
Yeah.
Then you had these motor clubs popping up.
Car culture was born.
And Ford was smart. He knew farmers needed cars too. The Model T, you could use it on the farm, haul stuff, go to town.
Practical.
And sales went through the roof. Some years, sales doubled.
Amazing.
But the biggest secret to the Model T's success, the assembly line.
1913, right?
That's the year. But to be fair, it wasn't just Ford's idea. Lots of his employees contributed.
Team effort.
Guys like Clarence Avery, Peter Martin, Charles Sorensen, C. Harold Wills, and they all helped figure it out.
So it's not just Ford getting all the credit.
And the impact was insane. Production just exploded.
Give me some numbers.
1914, they sell over 250,000 Model Ts.
Whoa.
1916, they dropped the price to $360.
Oh, yeah.
They sell 472,000. The price goes down, sales go up.
Economics 101. And by 1918, get this, half of all the cars in America were Model Ts.
Unbelievable.
And you know what the famous quote?
Any color, as long as it's black.
There's a reason for that.
Tell me.
Black paint dried the fastest. Super important on an assembly line.
Makes sense. Keep things moving.
They did make Model Ts in other colors early on.
I didn't know that.
But once they were mass producing them, black was the most efficient.
Gotta love efficiency.
And the Model T just kept going. They finally stopped making them in 1927.
Good long run.
Over 15 million made. A record that stood for 45 years.
Wow.
And in December 1918, something interesting happens. Ford makes his son Edsel president of the company.
Passing the torch.
Sort of. Henry Ford, he still had final say.
Still calling the shots?
Always. He even created this new company, Henry Ford & Son.
Why'd he do that?
To buy out the other stockholders. He wanted total control.
Interesting strategy.
Risky, but it worked.
So now it's just the Ford family. And then in 1922, he buys Lincoln.
Lincoln, like the luxury car.
Yeah, he was founded by Henry Leland. Remember him?
The Cadillac guy.
The same one. So now Ford owns 2 of the biggest car brands.
Quite a portfolio.
But Ford himself, he wasn't that into luxury cars. Edsel, he was the one who saw the potential.
Different visions.
And this difference between them, it caused some problems later on. See, while Ford's dominating the market with a Model T,
What about the competition?
General Motors, they were getting smart. This guy, Alfred Sloan, he had this price ladder idea. Different cars for different budgets.
Clever.
Chevrolet starts competing directly with the Model T.
And Ford's response?
He's stubborn, refuses to offer payment plans.
That's a mistake.
Huge mistake. People want to buy cars on credit. And GM, they're happy to let them.
So Ford's losing ground?
He finally realizes he needs a new car.
Time for a change.
They shut down production for 18 months. Imagine that.
Wow.
And they build this massive new factory, the River Rouge plant.
Where they build
The Model A, introduced in December 1927.
the successor to the Model T.
It was a totally new car. Edsel had a lot of influence on the design, more modern styling, a sliding shift transmission.
So Edsel's modernizing the company.
But Ford's still the engineering mastermind. And they finally start offering yearly model changes.
Keeping up with the times.
And financing, too, through their own credit company.
Better late than never.
But Ford's still resistant to some new ideas. Hydraulic brakes, all-metal roofs. Those took a while to catch on.
He was set in his ways.
In a lot of ways. But in 1932, he does something amazing. He unveils the flathead V8.
The V8. That was huge.
First affordable 8-cylinder engine. Suddenly, Ford's got this reputation for performance.
Muscle cars.
And here's something crazy. Ford hated accountants. He ran his whole empire without audits.
No way.
Seriously. They say he used to judge bills by their weight.
That's wild.
And the company, it stayed private until 1956, long after he was gone.
Controlled by the family.
Always. And finally, in 1939, they launch Mercury.
Another car brand.
Yeah, Edsel pushed for it to fill the gap between Ford and Lincoln.
Makes sense.
But Ford wasn't too excited about it.
Still button heads.
Until the very end. But let's talk about how Ford ran his factories. He was a pioneer of this thing called welfare capitalism, taking care of workers to keep them happy and productive.
Interesting concept.
And he did something really radical in 1914.
What's that?
He announced a $5 daily wage.
$5 a day. Back then, that was
a fortune. Most workers were making half that.
So why you do it?
To attract the best workers.
And
reduce turnover.
Smart.
People were quitting left and right. Training new workers was expensive.
So he pays them more, they stay longer.
Exactly. And it worked.
And it probably helped him sell more cars too, right?
Yeah. His workers could actually afford to buy a Model T.
Smart move.
But here's the catch. There were strings attached to this $5 wage.
What do you mean?
You had to work there for at least 6 months. And you had to pass inspection by the social department.
What's that?
They were like morality police. Checking if you drank, gambled, how you ran your house.
Whoa, hold on. That's a little creepy.
Yeah, pretty invasive.
Not cool.
Even Ford realized it went too far.
He did.
Later on, he said paternalism has no place in industry. He backed off a bit.
Thank goodness.
And then, in 1926, he does another big thing. He introduces the 5-day work week.
Wait, Ford invented the weekend.
Well, kind of.
Amazing.
It actually started in 1922 with 6 8-hour days. But by 1926, it's 5 days a week.
So why the change?
He thought it would make workers more productive. They'd be rested, happier.
Makes sense.
And he also believed that giving people free time would boost the economy. They'd spend more money.
Interesting.
He even talked about how leisure time wasn't wasted time. It was important for people's well-being.
Pretty progressive for his time.
In some ways, yeah. But when it came to unions, totally different story.
Oh, right. He was notoriously anti-union.
Hated them. He thought they were bad for business, slowed things down. He even wrote about it in his book, My Life and Work.
What'd he say?
He didn't trust union leaders, thought they were just in it for power. And he believed that if managers were good, they'd treat workers fairly anyway.
So no need for unions.
In his mind. And to keep unions out of his factories, he hired this guy, Harry Bennett.
Harry Bennett. That name rings a bell.
He was a tough guy, ex-boxer from the Navy.
Sounds intimidating.
He ran Ford's service department. And let me tell you, those guys were brutal.
What? Breaking up strikes?
Way worse. They used intimidation, violence, anything to stop unions from organizing.
And Ford was okay with this.
He turned a blind eye. It led to some awful stuff.
Like what?
The Ford Hunger March in 1932. Unemployed workers marched on the River Rouge plant. They wanted jobs. They wanted help.
Yeah.
Ford's security forces opened fire. People were injured. Some even died.
That's terrible.
And it gets worse. 1937, the Battle of the Overpass. Bennett's goons beat up a bunch of UAW organizers.
The UAW, that's the big auto workers union, right?
Yeah, they were trying to organize Ford's workers. And this guy, Walter Reuther, he was one of the leaders they attacked.
Brutality.
The police chief, he's a former Bennett guy, did nothing to stop it. It's messed up.
It is.
Now, here's where it gets interesting. Edsel, he was more open to unions.
Really?
He saw how powerful they were becoming. But Henry Ford, stubborn as ever, refused to budge.
Causing tension in the family.
Big time. And it all came to a head in 1941.
What happened?
The UAW called a sit-down strike.
Shutting down the whole plant.
The River Rouge plant, yep. Everything stopped. And Ford, he was furious.
What'd he do?
Threatened to dismantle the entire company rather than give in.
Wow.
But his wife, Clara, she put her foot down. Told him she'd leave him if he ruined the family business.
So Clara saved the Ford Motor Company.
Pretty much. Faced with that, and the strike crippling his production,
Yeah.
he finally gave in.
He recognized the UAW.
June 1941. Ford's the last of the big car companies to do it. And they signed a pretty good contract with the UAW.
So the union won?
In the end, yeah. And here's the funny part. About a year later, Ford's talking to Walter Reuther, the guy they beat up.
No way.
He tells Reuther that letting the UAW in was one of the smartest things Bennett ever did.
What? Why would he say that?
He said, now that they had the union, they could all gang up on GM and Wall Street.
So he saw the union as allies?
Against a common enemy. It's wild.
The man was full of surprises.
So besides cars, Ford also got into airplanes. During World War I, his company built Liberty engines. Those were used in Allied planes.
Important contribution to the war effort.
Then in 1925, he buys the Stout Metal Airplane Company.
He's not just a car guy anymore.
And this leads to the Ford 4AT trimotor. All-metal plane, nicknamed the Tin Goose.
I've seen pictures of that. Looks like a flying loaf of bread.
Yeah, kind of. It was a popular passenger plane. Even the U.S. Army used it.
So Ford planes were flying all over.
And you know the Smithsonian.
The museum in Washington.
They officially recognize Ford's contribution to aviation.
He really did it all.
But the airplane business, it didn't last. They shut it down in 1933 during the Depression.
Tough times.
But Ford's place in aviation history is secure. They even put him in the National Aviation Hall of Fame, posthumously, in 1985.
Well deserved.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. Ford's views on war. Very complicated. Early on, during World War I, he was a pacifist.
Really? The guy who built war machines?
Yeah. He thought war was pointless, destructive.
Makes sense, in a way.
He even financed this thing called the Peace Ship. In 1915, he sailed to Europe, tried to negotiate an end to the war.
Wow, that's ambitious.
It was a total disaster.
Yeah.
The press mocked him, and he came home pretty quickly.
So much for peace.
But then, his ideas about what caused wars, they took a dark turn.
What do you mean?
He started blaming German Jewish bankers, saying they were behind it all, pulling the strings.
Anti-Semitism.
And it got worse as time went on.
We'll get into that more later.
But here's the thing. Even while he's preaching peace, his companies are building for war.
How so?
His factories in Britain, they're making tractors for the Allies and warplane engines.
Well, fits over principles.
And when the U.S. joins the war, Ford Motor Company, they're supplying weapons.
Including those Liberty engines.
In 1918, he even runs for Senate. President Woodrow Wilson asked him to.
Really? Why?
To support the League of Nations. Ford loses, but he keeps pushing for the League.
He believed in international cooperation, at least in that way.
And then World War II starts brewing.
And Ford's stance?
He's against the U.S. getting involved.
Yeah.
He still believes that international business can prevent wars.
Yeah.
But his rhetoric, it gets even more extreme.
The anti-Semitism.
Yeah. He talks about greedy financiers who want war. It's a dog whistle for,
Targeting Jews.
And he claims that American ships being sunk, it's all a conspiracy.
Orchestrated by
Jewish financiers, in his mind.
Mm.
It's dangerous stuff.
And meanwhile, his company.
They're doing business with the Nazis, building stuff for the German military.
Wow.
And he joins the America First Committee. They were against the U.S. joining the war.
Isolationists.
Host